Thank you for joining me for lesson 203 of our daily Sefer mitzvah study. We have two more lessons, I believe, on this mitzvah, which is positive mitzvah 113. This is the mitzvah of the red heifer, and includes the preparation of the red heifer to get the ashes. And I thought we could read not the whole passage because it is long, but we can read some verses. It starts out. This is in Parshat Chukas. Parshat Chukas is the known as the name of the Torah portion is like the decree, basically, because it says in chapter or verse 2 of chapter 19 of Bamidbar, of Numbers. It says, "This is the statute, or this is the decree of the Torah, which the Lord commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and have them take for you a perfectly red, unblemished cow, upon which no yoke has been laid." So we talked about this previously. I don't think I mentioned the fact that it's got to be unblemished, just like a another offering that would be brought for a sacrifice. Uh, you can't even, according to oral tradition, someone couldn't have even placed some clothing over the cow in order to have the clothing dry off. That would be considered work. And uh, when the priests would choose the cow, they would first have examined it, and then before they would do the actual offering, they at least in one case they would act as if they were going to put a yoke on it to see whether or not the cow would turn to watch it, like to see if you're going to throw a yoke on it, which would indicate that this cow is familiar with that process. The cow should not be familiar with the process of having a yoke put on it. That would indicate that it has done labor that is not allowed to have been done as the red heifer. Also, they would examine his hairs and make sure that its hairs weren't creased from having a burden placed upon it. All right, verse 3, it says, "And you shall give it to Eleazar the Cohen, and he shall take it outside the camp and slaughter it in his presence." So obviously in the days um, of Eleazar, they in the days of Eleazar, they didn't do things at the base of Mikdash. They did things at the Mishkan, the tabernacle, instead of the holy temple. Um, but saying that it is taken outside the camp, it would be taken to a place outside of the Mishkan. And then it says in verse 4, Eleazar the Cohen shall take from its blood and sprinkle toward the front of the tent of meeting 7 times. So they're in view of the tent of meeting, the tabernacle. And so one of the priests would slice of the neck to slaughter the animal, and they would catch it in a cup, and then he would take from the cup and he would sprinkle 7 times toward the tabernacle. And in the days of the temple, they did it toward the temple, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily very close. In the days of the base of Mikdash, the way they did it, to my understanding, is they were on the Mount of Olives, which is very interesting, since the Mount of Olives is covered in graves now. But they would have they constructed a bridge so that they could walk this cow out across the valley to the Mount of Olives, and once on the Mount of Olives, they would slaughter the cow after like facing it in a certain direction, slaughter it, and they sprinkle the blood 7 times, and then take what's left on his fingers, and rather than just wiping it on his robes or something, he would rub it on the cow because everything that is of the cow needs to be burned. So it says, verse 5, the cow shall then be burned in his presence. Its hide, its flesh, its blood, with the dung, he shall burn it. Then the Cohen will take a piece of cedar wood, of hyssop, and crimson wool, and cast them into the burning cow. So they would be very careful in examining these to make sure that this is cedar wood, that this is hyssop, this is crimson wool, and the priest would confer with other priests to make sure that they didn't make a mistake and grab the wrong thing. Then it says, verse 7, the Cohen shall wash his garments and bathe his flesh in water after doing this. Then he may enter the camp, and the Cohen shall be unclean until after evening. And the one who burns it shall wash his clothes in water and cleanse his body in water, and he shall be unclean until evening. In verse 9, a ritually clean person shall gather the cow's ashes and place them outside the camp in a clean place, and it shall be as a keepsake for the congregation of the children of Israel for sprinkling water for cleansing. 10, the one who gathers the cow's ashes shall wash his clothes, and he shall be unclean until evening. It shall be an everlasting statute for the children of Israel and for the proselyte who resides in their midst. All right. So that is the process of uh, burning the red heifer in order to get, the whole point is to get these ashes. And then these ashes have to be mixed with clean water. And we'll talk about that probably after Shabbos. And those ashes, they can be just a minute amount of ashes in this water. Sprinkle on the, we've talked about this briefly previously, sprinkling it on somebody who had tumas hameis, the impurity of a corpse. That is what will purify the person who has received that impurity. That person who has received the impurity, they immerse, and then they're sprinkled on the 3rd day and on the 7th day of their uncleanness, if able. Otherwise, they're sprinkled the 3rd day and the 7th day whenever they come, and after immersing. And this is the process of getting cleansed so that you can go up to the temple. So there's, hopefully we've still got some more that we could talk about tomorrow, after either, well, probably I'll do it on Sunday. Just easier to do things that way rather than to do it late at night on Saturday. All right. That's what all we'll talk about today. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day in every way. Have a good Shabbos. Bye-bye.